So joining us this morning is the director, David Shinn. Mr. Shinn, thanks for coming back this morning. Let's start off with, after the spike we saw happen at Whetstone down in Tucson, how did this happen for a second time? Have you figured out what caused it a second time around?
Good morning, Mike. Happy to be back with you again today. We are working through those issues. We have seen significant uptick in those communities, from congregate care settings, prisons, local jails. Everyone is going through the same thing right now. Most importantly, what we're looking at is dealing with that situation. As soon as we got the results from those tests, and testing has been a key component, which has allowed us to achieve a 99% recovery rate from COVID throughout our prisons statewide, we leapt into action immediately. We divide inmates up between those that are positive, those that are still pending tests and suspect, and those that have been found to be negative. We immediately bring medical care, medicine, food, everything those individuals require to them to make sure they don't come in contact with others. And that's the strategy that has allowed us to be successful in managing COVID.
So when this happens, the question from a lot of people is, how did it get to this many cases before that action was taken? Why did they not find out sooner that many inmates were testing positive before the spread got so bad?
Sure. Well, there's two vectors for spread of COVID. One, obviously, is our employees who come and go each and every day. The second vector are all the county admissions, all 15 counties that we partner with. They're seeing the same uptick that we are throughout the state. We are in constant contact with those folks as well. We're unable to close that front door. They have limited space in terms of managing their population. We continue that flow of transfers from them to us. The courts continue to process criminal cases as well, and we can't stop that part of things. So as we test folks and we get those results, we'll react immediately to that.
Have you seen the press release from the Puente movement saying that here in Lewis Prison, Perryville, La Paz County Jail, they have loved ones saying that their human rights are being violated? There's no running water, lack of basic essentials, blankets, cutlery, denial of religious services, video visitation, among other things. They're saying this is happening all over the state.
I have not, Mike. But I have been, over the past 4 to 5 weeks, at 9 of our 10 complexes myself. I've gone out and seen the conditions. I've spoken with our men and women, and those assertions are simply not true.
Okay, and I just, again, it's not fair to ask you about a letter you haven't seen, but they sent a press release out listing
Sure.
a bunch of, at least 800 incarcerated people are displaying COVID-19 symptoms, and then no sign of the spread slowing. They're saying that you're not doing anything really to mitigate this, and that's adding to part of the problem.
I understand everyone is entitled to their opinion, and I respect all of that. We're grateful for people telling us about areas of concern. But in terms of some of the things that they're describing, they're simply not true.
Have you been in conversation with the governor's office? Where are inmates on the list of people that will be getting the vaccine? Are they with the general population, or is it going to be sooner?
We are in constant contact with the governor's office and his senior team. And we are very, very grateful for Governor Ducey's leadership in allowing us to get these vaccines as rapidly as possible. We've been working with the Department of Health Services hand in hand, shoulder to shoulder, for the last 8-10 months at this point. They have literally come out and visited our facilities as well. We have been working with them on the vaccine program. We are presently enrolling all of our physicians, both internally. Centurion, who is our medical contractor and has done a great job of partnering with us to make sure we provide health care to our inmates in self-operated facilities, and all of our third-party partners as well to make sure they are registered. The moment that vaccine is available and delivered to us, we will distribute that vaccine in hours, a day or two at most. We have plans and are ready to act once it's received.
Yeah, but do you have it? Are they telling you where that is in the order? Because the other part of it is, of course, is the officers, your correction officers, they're law enforcement. Do they fall in line with the other law enforcement officers? But inmates themselves, are they telling you any timeline of when they're thinking it's going to be made available to you, to the prison system?
My understanding, Mike, is healthcare workers are first, and that includes all of our healthcare workers throughout our system. Correctional officers are next in that order. After that, vulnerable inmates will receive the vaccine. And then in additional rounds, the entire inmate population will be able to receive that vaccine.
All right, and the director of the Arizona Department of Corrections, Rehabilitation and Reentry, David Shinn, is joining us. My last question for you is, last time we had talked before about Lewis Prison and some, pretty bad conditions, doors that didn't lock, things weren't working. Can you give us an update on the maintenance and the repairs?
Absolutely, Mike. The situation that happened at Maury Unit at Lewis is actually the impetus for me being here in this position. Seeing that video from 18, 20 months ago, my immediate thought was never again. And we are 100% committed to make that happen. We have completed the vast majority of repairs at Maury. We went from some of the worst housing in our system to some of the best housing. It is eligible for the ACA accreditation process. It is as fine as any housing really nationwide. We've replaced 496 locks in that unit. And each of these locks are deadbolt prison series locks. I have, as a correctional officer myself, turned these locks hundreds of thousands of times myself. Never had a single failure. So I'm really, really excited about the things that we've done there and our ability to bring this back online. I think that this is a monumental opportunity and a change for this department from a failure to an example of what can be done when we partner together. Funding is provided to make this happen, and we are ahead of schedule and under budget on this project. So I'm really, really grateful for this opportunity to provide a safer environment for our men and women in corrections and every inmate who resides at that location with additional taxpayer savings and value.
Well, that's good news. It's nice to have some good news about that after that. After the story broke, it's good to hear that things are changing there. Appreciate the time as always, and looking forward to having you back on the show.
Thank you so much, Mike. Great talking with you, and happy holidays.
All right, you too. That is David Shinn, the director of the Arizona Department of Corrections, Rehabilitation and Reentry.